Okay, that's enough of that. We have wrestled control of the Scooter Pod back from the captain after his State of the Frogs pod earlier. All right, but we're back on. Welcome to the Weekend Spread. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me, we got Jameson, we got Ty, and we got Bowden Blake. And guys, for the first time, and God knows how long, we have not just one 500 picker, but two. Jameson, Blake, you are both sitting at 34 and 34. How does it feel to be 500 men?
Dude, it feels so nice, honestly. We have been tough this whole season, but like I said, you just need one good week.
That's true. Captain, your Frogs may have lost, but you certainly were very hot last week. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so last week is a little bit of a roller coaster. If you want to hear kind of more of the downside of the roller coaster, please listen to the podcast I did earlier, just kind of 30-minute outline of the state of TCU athletics. But if we want to talk about the positives, my gambling week was awesome. I was basically Mark Stoops being an idiot and still calling timeouts and trying to get the final touchdown to cover the spread away from going out of this with only one loss. My 3 Superdog picks last week, 2 of them had a legitimate chance. UNLV almost won their first game of the season, so close on a last-minute drive. And then Cal, I took Cal plus 400, and we were so close. Oregon had to edge that one out barely, and so it hurts. It hurts when you get close with those big underdog picks, but I'll take it because the Frogs are little preview. The Frogs are. They're bad, and we're not in a good place. But gambling-wise, I'm starting to look up.
That's good. Hey, look, at least something's going right. Ty, rough week. You feeling like you can bounce back a bit?
Yeah. No, so as we know, this is a public podcast. So as the feds are listening, I do not partake in gambling. So I don't have the luxury of a nice gambling week to save me. So it was just bad picks all around, but great college football again. So I can't, try to stay positive. One of the craziest seasons. We've discussed this before, but potentially the craziest season of college football in modern times. So
at least since 2007, it feels like. So I'm all in on it, especially as OU hasn't been involved with the crazy yet, knock on wood, especially as we go into Kansas
Don't
week.
say that we're about to play the Bean Man.
No, we'll get to that later. But anyways, let's dive in. And fair warning, if you have small children at home, don't let them listen to this slate. It's really bad. So very dirty, rated R at the very least. Let's get it started with a Pac-12 matchup. Haven't had one of those in forever. Number 10, Oregon traveling to the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. The Bruins are favored by 1.5, and for some reason my graphic has them as number 1. They are very much not number 1. That was a mistake. A typo on my end.
Your plot twist.
Oh, God. I am wavering now, Bobby. What do I do?
This would be a disastrous alternate scenario where UCLA somehow has got the number 1 team in the country. Oh.
Not anything is possible this year. By the time we get to week 14, we might have a number 1 UCLA. Who knows?
Chip Kelly has used the time stone to reverse all of his losses. I don't know. Anyways, Bruins favored by 1.5. All lines brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook as well. Make sure to sign up with promo code TPPN if you are in a state that allows that. Anyways, let's dive in. Jameson, as one of the winners, you and Blake have decided you will go first. So kick us off here.
I know why Blake wanted me to go first, and I didn't really think about it because I have to pick this line first, which is miserable, and I'm not happy about it. You know what? Screw it. Let's move forward with it. Did I want to pick Oregon before the pod? Yes. Did Bobby show me UCLA as number 1 in the country and make me completely think about it? Or I don't know. Is that a sign?
I mean, it might. Number 1 UCLA. Ty, we can't see that. What did it mean? Okay.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about it. Oh, what is this? It's this.
Lord forgive me, but I must download DraftKings with promo code TPPN to support the Scooter Pod. Hey,
this is a viewer only special special treat.
I'm not the Lord and Savior, but I will forgive you if you do that. So, Jameson, continue.
Yeah, getting back to this, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of trendy people are picking UCLA here, and smart people are picking it. Okay, I understand that, but UCLA has still not looked that flashy to me. I mean, I've only watched a couple of their games, but their box scores aren't popping. I feel like they're also mildly struggling, kind of like Oregon is. So it's not like, Oregon's been doing really bad, give UCLA the favorite. And UCLA at home isn't really that big of, a home experience we've seen this season. So I'm going to go Oregon. I'm not comfortable about it at all, even with UCLA being number 1, according to Bobby.
Fair enough. The Scooter Pod poll published every Wednesday. Anyways, Blake, who do you got?
Jameson's wrong. Give me UCLA. I love this bet for so many reasons. And let's just first start with Oregon. Oregon almost lost to Cal last weekend. Like, it took a last-second draw, or not a last-second, but a game-winning drive at home to beat the Cal Golden Bears. They were 14-point favorites and still couldn't cover that. I think Oregon is honestly horrendous, and the advanced statistics back me up on this, that Oregon on PFF, they are a lower-graded team than UCLA. UCLA has, I think, 2 somewhat respectable losses versus an Arizona State team who's solid in the Pac-12 South, and then a feisty Fresno team that Jameson bet on last week. But DTR is what he is. He's not an elite passer. He's a really good runner. But I am, for what happened last week versus Washington and just UCLA being able to win pretty handedly, I like that because Washington has 2 of the best corners in the league. He only passed for about 200 yards, but very efficiently. And you look on the other side of it, Anthony Brown, Oregon's quarterback, I looked at the grades, the offensive grades. He grades out as the 11th best Oregon offensive player, which means he is the worst player in that starting lineup, and that is your quarterback when you're going out there each week. I hate that. I think Zach Charbonnet, really good running back. I love this line. I think people are going to load up on Oregon thinking because they're the higher ranked. They beat Ohio State early on in the year when they didn't have things figured out. But I really think this Oregon team's slumping. DTR can get away from Thibodeau. Give me UCLA. I love this.
I like it. Ty?
Yeah, so first off, important note. I know you guys aren't – I think it comes from not living in Oklahoma for a while and not being able to go to the games. I'm a kind of a bigger college game day fan than you guys are. I love getting up in the morning. I love so my routine is it's kind of cringe, cringe consumerist routine. But I get up in the morning, I go get Starbucks, I get or make breakfast, and then I sit down by 8:00 and I watch that super cringe Big and Rich ESPN game day intro, and it just gets me going for the week. So. Do with that what you will. But for this week, this is how bad the slate is. Game day has gone to UCLA for this game, which I think they're going to – I get literally, and I'm not joking here, I think they will actually hire actors to come and be in the crowd because UCLA just doesn't – like the student body doesn't care. No, and that is something that game day does. If you guys went and watched this year, I think week 1 or 2 – they had something having to do with mayonnaise, and they had hired people to pour mayonnaise on themselves and things like that. They do hire actors to go to the crowd. If you pay attention to the signs and everything else, it's kind of an unspoken secret. You'll see people holding up signs in the background for sponsors. So yeah, but that's how little the UCLA fan base cares about football. I think it's a neat game. I like Pac-12 football. I do, but if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and it's the underdog, I'll take it. I'm gonna zip where Blake zagged. I don't know the saying. It's an old saying in Texas. Sometimes it's probably in Tennessee, but Texas. But give me the Oregon Ducks here to cover by plus 1.5.
Ooh. Look, I got to disagree with you, Ty, because it is currently Fade Oregon season. It happens every year. It came a little earlier this season, I will say. But after just completely botching that Stanford game, and then immediately at home off of a bye week, like just barely slipping by a Cal team who had a billion chances. I don't know. I don't think I could go with the Ducks here. And Vegas, I think, sees something here in UCLA. I get that they had that Fresno loss. Jake Hayner did a great job there. And they did get beat by your Arizona State Sun Devils tie, but I don't know. I'm feeling it. So give me the Bruins to cover the 1.5 for sure. So moving on to a different game. This is sloppy. I don't even know what's... The fact that this even constitutes a game on this slate is insane. Number 5, Ohio State at Indiana. Buckeyes favored by 20. The Bucks have kind of recovered a bit after a bit of a sloppy start, losing to that aforementioned Oregon team. And Indiana has just frankly been atrocious. So, look, that I gotta say, I could see Ohio State tripping up again this season. It won't be at Indiana, though. And that 20-point line looks too tasty to pass up. So give me the Bucks minus 20. Ty?
Yeah, sorry, I got a little caught up in the snake. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Bobby. I don't want to take too much time on this one. I think it's a nasty one. It's in this whole slate. It's just nasty. I like Ohio State here, but anything 20 and above just is inherently nasty. But give me the Buckeyes here. I think they're a lot like OU in the Big 12. No matter what our doubts are, they're going to clean up the conference more or less. Obviously those aren't a given. That's not a given with OU. It's not a given with Ohio State. But most probably, if you're going just shooting from the hip, like I like to do, give me Ohio State here. It's a Big Ten game. They run the Big Ten.
There you go, Blake.
Yep, I'm not deviating from this at all. And I've honestly been really impressed with Ohio State lately and kind of how they bounced back after the embarrassing loss versus Oregon early on in the season. That CJ Stroud went from all these Ohio State fans being like, bench him, to now he's kind of a sneaky dark horse, like Heisman candidate. Like, they've been ripping up their competition after that Tulsa game and have completely turned around their season, kind of similar to what OU has done. They had to do it more on the defensive side of the ball, OU doing it more on the offensive side of the ball. But Indiana, just atrocious, like you said, Bobby. And I said this on the preseason podcast. I was like, Indiana got very lucky last year, and it was a cool run, but, like, they're really not as good as people think, and, like, they finally come back to earth, and, like, this is where I saw them being. And I said Michael Penix can't stay healthy, and he hasn't been able to do it. And so that's why I that's why I put a Indiana under, I think it was 7.5 or something for win total, because Penix can't stay healthy whatsoever. And that's what's happened this year. So give me Ohio State. I just can't trust this Indiana team.
And it's so typically us that anytime someone says Michael Penix, someone starts laughing.
Got an order for Mike Penix.
Oh,
Mike
God.
Mike Penix, are you here?
Okay. Anyways,
I've got to order a Bofa for Mike Penix.
Okay, Jameson, who do you got?
I don't know why you're saying this is nasty. This is the one that I thought that was the easiest, and I think it's Ohio
It
State.
is. It is.
On what Blake was saying is Ohio State's looked damn good recently. Like, CJ Stroud is, like, abusing the teams he's playing against because he's got the 3 of the best wide receivers in the country he's thrown to, 2 of the best wide receivers in the country, one that's also very good. But he's just got a great staff around him, and this Indiana team, like you said, just doesn't have anything going for them aside from keeping it close with Michigan State, who Michigan State just plays close games. That's all they do. They find a way to win, but how often do they actually blow out teams? So give me Ohio State comfortably in this one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Michigan State's just out here grinding with everyone. So, a sweep for the Buckeyes on the weekend spread. Next up, have y'all missed Clemson? I sure haven't. But you know who I have missed? The Pitt Panthers, who are back. They're ranked 23. Talk to your children about ranked Pitt, because they're favored against the Clemson Tigers. I never thought I'd see the day, but I am so happy I am. Jameson, Clemson's been pretty down. Haven't really covered a spread, I believe, this whole season, it feels like. So, do you believe in the power of Pitt, or are you picking Dabo and the boys to bounce back?
Here's my thing. Clemson's been, they have not been covering because these spreads they've been giving, it's just been absolutely way too much for their offense. And we've seen that. And like Bobby was sniffed it out with Syracuse in his wild card pick last week. But now I feel like there's a big compensation now. Now they are an underdog going into Pitt. I understand Pitt has only lost one game. They're favorite. And yes, they are the rightful favorite to win. But I think one thing about Clemson is that I feel like they're going to keep it close. So I'm going to take Clemson with the +3 on this. I could see Pitt running away with it, but has Pitt done it enough this season to really just open some eyes? They beat Tennessee is their best win so far really this season. But that's really the only thing that's been eye-opening, and Tennessee is a team that's beatable. So give me Clemson +3, but not saying Clemson is the favorite here.
Gotcha. Blake, who do you got?
Yep, I'm riding with Jameson and going with Clemson. And this one stings because my friend Wilson sent me a stat today that Clemson is one of 4 or 5 teams that hasn't covered a spread the entire season. Like, not a single spread have they covered. And so this one, I don't know if Vegas has a really good read on Clemson, but also at the same time, I look at Pitt. Pitt has played very well this season. I think Kenny Pickett right now is if I had to vote for somebody for the Heisman, I'd vote Kenny Pickett. That's how well he's played. Yeah, because it's like this year, there's not really like a dominant team with like a dominant player. So it's like kind of like one of those Lamar Jackson years where it's just like choose a good player on like a somewhat like a team that's kind of exceeding their expectations. And like Kenny Pickett has done that, and he like grades as one of the top I think he has the second best QB grade in America besides Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams can't win it this year because he just hasn't played enough games. Sorry, but hasn't played enough games. But, so this is hard. It's just Clemson's offense is so bad, but their defense is so good. And I just worried that Pitt losing to a Western Michigan team. I know they're a good MAC team, but it's a MAC team nonetheless. That doesn't inspire any confidence. So I'm just going to hope Vegas has finally gotten Clemson right and just hop on Clemson this week.
Is Pitt the best team that has ever lost to Western Michigan? I don't know. Someone should do a deep dive.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, but they're not the only notable team.
That is true. OSU lost to Central Michigan that one time.
Oh, yeah.
That was very fun. All right, Ty, who do you got?
So I'm going to read you guys a definition, and I'm so glad that they're back. If you guys know me, I'm a college football grudge holder. I love to see people's lives fall apart when they beat OU. Coach O, fuck you. We can believe that.
Oh, no.
Noted family man, all 7 or so of his families.
Oh, no.
But Clemson, the day of reckoning has come. But it hasn't. It's returned because I'm about to read you guys. It's been forgotten in recent years. This is a timeless classic that kids nowadays don't know about, but we're old enough to not forget, and that is Clemsoning. Clemsoning is the act of delivering an inexplicably disappointing performance with high expectations, usually within the context of college football. And baby is Clemsoning back this season, and I love to see it. With that being said, this is Pitt. I've been burned on Clemson plenty of times this season. I have. But when it comes to college football, there is such a disparity in the quality of athletes. And when I look at a 3-point line, you guys always give me hell for this. But I always say, it just for my, you always hit until you hit 17 in blackjack. For me, in the pick'ems, which, by the way, I won the only full season I ever played in the pick'ems. If I see 3, that's essentially a pick'em. And you guys always cringe when I say this. I think that Clemson can pull this one out. And I feel like I'm going to regret this one, but when I see Pitt -3, it's essentially a pick'em for me. And I think that Clemson is just going to out-athlete them. And if Pitt does win, I don't see it by 3. So give me Clemson here. I'm not happy about it. I love to see him collapse. I hope Dabo's on the hot seat.
Well, hold up. This is whenever you've used this in the past. You pick the favorite in these -3 ones because you're like, okay, it's a pick 'em, so I'm going to pick the team that's favored. So you're going with the underdog here, even though it's a pick 'em.
Well, I think Clemson will win, but if Pitt does win, it's going to be some like crazy like end of the game scenario. So,
okay,
I don't see Pitt winning by a touchdown or more. Also, I didn't mention. Blake mentioned Lamar Jackson's Heisman year as a year that there was just no one else. Dede Westbrook and Baker Mayfield were in the Heisman ceremony that year.
Yeah, they kind of split votes on that. Go ahead, Blake.
Oh, yep. I was just about to say that. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you got 2 there and not 1.
That's true. That's true.
And this year's like especially like all the Heisman favorites this year have just benched themselves out of contention.
No, and Lamar Jackson did deserve it in 2016.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think there were other people. There were definitely other people there.
Yeah,
I will say this is a weird year when what we're gonna get from the Heisman, because it's like Caleb Williams is probably gonna come out as the best player, all said and done. But like, do you give a Heisman to a guy that played like half the season?
See it. A true freshman that played half the season. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah,
I want it. I think it'd be great. Obviously,
anything is possible. Yeah,
for sure. And especially when Pitt is involved, anything is possible. And
I hope they give it to that Cincinnati dude that doesn't know how to pull out.
Oh God. Okay,
Ty's like gone off the rails this podcast.
Ty has just gone like full savage mode, and I love it. But I
said the slate was rated R, and then Ty started acting like he could rated R.
Once Bobby gave me the "No Kids Are Listening" cleared hot, it was all.
Oh no! I've been writing more numbers down timestamp wise than Coach O got at the gas station. So
Bobby called me Ford before the podcast. So shout out to the 13 listeners that
got the Ford
Bobby
reference.
and I that have seen the Forbidden Ford segment.
Oh God! Anyways, all right. Let me just finish this one out.
He's picking
Pitt. I'm taking Pitt. And here's the thing. I had concerns because the Pitt super weapon needs time to charge, and I don't know if the Pitt super weapon can, release when, they're favored and are, playing a bad Clemson team. But here's the thing. Pitt doesn't need the super weapon. They're going to beat them straight up. Love Kenny Pickett here. They're playing at home. The venerable Heinz Field and all of their empty yellow chairs are going to be so intimidating for Clemson. So you know what? I think this is the game where the straw breaks the camel's back for Dabo and the boys, and they get that third loss. So give me Pitt here. And honestly, if you told me that Pitt would be favored by 3 against Clemson in the preseason, and I didn't. And then I also told myself, I'm not going to take it. I would slap myself because this is a golden opportunity. When will this ever happen again? Give me Pitt. Okay. So, anyways, next up, we want to talk about some gross games. We got West Virginia at TCU. Frogs favored by 4.5. Both teams feel like they're in a bit of a need of a get back game. TCU's been on a bit of a slide. Lost 3 of their past 4 games. West Virginia, on the other hand, also just not a great showing recently. They did lose to Texas Tech. Lost to Tech, Baylor, and OU. So just not a great. This feels like a loser leaves town game in terms of, I wouldn't say head coaching because I don't think Gary's seat is that hot yet. I don't think it's physically able to get that hot. But in terms of Neil Brown, I would start to get worried if he loses this one. So this is a big game for both teams. But I'm going to ride with what I've been saying the entire season long, that I think West Virginia is not that great. And I think TCU is better than they've shown. If Zach Evans comes back, this is a wrap, I think. The Frogs showed some signs of life. I think they ran into OU at the wrong time. But with that being said, I think they get a win at home at Almond G. Carter, and 4.5. That number is good. I like that. So give me the Frogs here. Ty?
Yeah, it's this one. This one is nasty too, but I think it's in Dallas.
Nope. Nope.
Why was there
Nope,
a Dallas flag? Wait, where's TCU?
Fort Worth.
Why was there a
Don't say they're
Dallas
the
flag
same.
on the field after the SMU game?
No, there wasn't. That's one of our coaches almost died because of that.
I'm pretty sure that was a debunked rumor.
By
Blake.
your own player's hand, I will add, not by my Mustangs. But yeah, West Virginia got to travel far. We always talk about that. I always talk about that, which I think they're used to it. But I'm really trying to I'm trying to plant the seeds for like a West Virginia, in Morgantown, out of Morgantown, like Hawaii on island, off island storyline, because it is almost comparable travel times in some cases when Hawaii's playing Cali teams, especially. But
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that at all.
Yeah, Ty. That's
all right.
Hawaii's pretty far.
I don't want to stop it. I'm pretty sure it's what, like 4 hours from
morning time in Hawaii right now, and it's 9 o'clock at West Virginia.
No, okay. No, I'm not saying from West Virginia to. It is 5 hours. Yeah,
You realize whenever you talk about travel, it's more about the time zone change, and when you're having to get ready, not the actual plane flight time.
It is a 5-hour, 45-minute flight from LAX to Honolulu.
Am I the only one that sees Ty's left side of his face drooping right now? Because I think he's having a freaking stroke.
No, I have no, okay.
Jesus.
First off, Bob, you might not know this. Okay, when you're traveling long distances, there's this thing called the Coriolis effect. Okay, so the travel time from LA to Honolulu is going to be different than the travel time from Honolulu to LA because you're either going with or against the circulation of the Earth. With that being said, yeah, I was 2 hours off. It's like 2 hours from Pittsburgh.
You realize the time zones are very different between.
No, I understand
and...
that. I understand. Okay, anyways, long travel time, they got to do a multi-hour plane flight. All right, anything over 2 hours in the air, you got to black out to do it. Everybody knows this. All right, they're both over 2 hours. So I completely lost my train of thought. I was trying to do like a 30-second pick here. Give me TCU plus 4.5 or minus 4.5. Give me TCU.
Okay.
Pass it on to Blake over there.
I love it. Blake, you're up.
Yeah, I kind of touched on this in our podcast, but our talent alone is going to win us at least 7 games a year, and this is one of those 7 games, and this is kind of the cyclical nature. We're going to beat up on the West Virginias, the Texas Techs, the smaller dogs, but we'll never compete with the bigger dogs in our current state. Like Bobby said, I don't think Patterson is necessarily coaching for his job as long as we have our same athletic director, but I think TCU, this is one of the ones we're going to win, and Zach Evans and Duggan are both probable, so they're probably going to play, and so they're just so much better than West Virginia, so give me TCU.
Yep.
Have we learned more, Blake, about Max Duggan's injury?
No, like we haven't. Gary doesn't say anything, and when he does, it's either false or today it's been more talking about the articles and stuff that have been written about him and just like he's going off the rails today. It's more about defending himself than actually talking about the game plan versus West Virginia.
Is he the most sensitive coach in college football? Because I kind of feel like he is sometimes.
No.
Who's worse?
Look at Lincoln Riley when people look out windows.
Yeah, like he's not canceling practice.
Okay,
I wasn't from Lincoln Riley. Guys, you guys know that, right? It wasn't Lincoln Riley wasn't the one who canceled media. It was someone.
I know, but he has some say. I think to be like,
yeah, but
probably
I mean,
a bad idea.
Here's the thing: one's about like secrets, and the other one he's crying because his song was used in a mean way and it hurt his feelings.
There are 2 people above.
It's not secrets, Bobby. It's not secrets at that point. Everybody knows. Like,
what is attempted secrets versus they played his song and I'm sad.
Lincoln Riley just doesn't want to answer
Bobby
questions.
Here. I've got a bone to pick with Jameson. What do you mean it wasn't Lincoln Riley? There are 2 people at OU that are senior to Lincoln Riley. It's Joe Consiglione, who didn't cancel practice, and Joe Haraz, who I don't even think he understands the concept of NCAA sports, if we're being honest.
Okay. That was the verbiage used from a lot of like the OU, reporters and stuff. So it came from the athletic department. It did not come from Lincoln.
So it came from Constiglione, canceled practice, moved it to Everest. There's no way.
He was the person who canceled media. I don't know if Castiglione did it, but someone in the athletic department did. This whole spiral of being pissed off at the OU Daily. Yes, maybe probably Lincoln was upset about that because obviously that's not good for him. But he was not the person that started the domino effect of everything that came from that.
So while we're on the aside, actually, exclusive from the Scooter Pod, I scouted it out today because I was very curious after the whole OU Daily debacle last week. So I had class around the time, or I had class ending around the time that practice was starting. And I was assuming, with the OU Daily revelations, that there would be increased, security or some sort of passive measures, whether it be, screens or something on the windows to block. I walked through the 3 buildings that are the most or the closest to the practice field where you can really view them. I'll let you guys, use your imaginations or a campus map for that. There are some other ones that if you're really using binoculars or different technology, you can also get some views, but no enhanced security whatsoever. The same, just 2 CSC event staff people on corners, nobody from the departments, no sort of passive measures or anything, which was kind of surprising. So spoiler alert, if you're trying to spy on practice, still super easy.
But the value of spying on practice is basically
but now there's no reason to. Yeah, so that's
because the only reason why they're mad is because they had one thing that they were somewhat trying to protect. I don't think it took anybody seeing that to know where they were going with that, but it's just they thought they pulled the cat out of the bag, and Lincoln saw it that way when it really wasn't. Everybody knew Caleb Williams was going to start that game, and then if he didn't, people were going to get mad at Lincoln Riley, being like, "You idiot! Why aren't you starting this guy that came back against your biggest rival?" So it was just.
Anyways, that's beside the point. Wait,
Anyways,
do you have any final takes on TCU West Virginia, or were you wrapped up?
Or
Okay.
wait, or were we on Jameson or?
I think my thing
I
is,
got lost in the
Jameson
snake.
asked about Duggan. That's where we were at.
my
don't
thing
know much
is,
more.
I saw the Zach Evans and Max Duggan injury report being probable, and that's all I needed to see. West Virginia has just been really disappointing, so give me TCU.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough.
Let's move on to this crap that I've got next.
Oh boy, we got K-State at Texas Tech. It is a pick'em. No line whatsoever. So good luck, Jameson. Who do you got?
I don't want to pick this. This is nasty.
Hey,
I don't know what to do. Change the graphic. Do you have the graphic for this?
Oh,
Bobby?
shoot. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
I momentarily forgot how to produce. There we go.
Okay, this makes me feel better, even though I still don't know what to do, and I still have yet to decide. Because pre-podcast, I had Texas Tech, and now I want to lean K-State. So I'm going to go to what my first inclination was and say Texas Tech and go Henry Colombi.
You're going with the Columbi, man.
Columbi.
Okay. Blake, who do you got?
yeah, this is a hard one. I struggled to find an edge because K-State has played they've lost 3 in a row, but it's against 3 really good Big 12 sides, and Texas Tech has won a lot recently, but they haven't really played anybody at all, and everybody they have played they've lost to. But I'm gonna roll with Tech here, and my only reason why is K-State sucks at covering the pass. They're 96th in the nation, and 100 in the hundreds when it comes to most passing categories on defense, and Texas Tech loves to pass, and they've actually been pretty good at it. They've been 11th in passing success, and then also Columbi has been a significantly better passer than Shao. He's grading tons better. It might be a little bit because of competition, but who knows? But honestly, Columbi has been more of an upgrade, so I'm gonna take Tech. It just in Lubbock. I was reaching for an edge here. There is not a clear one because both of these teams are weird and not very good.
They're weird. Ty, what you got there? You doing good?
Oh, is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Oh, sorry. I was reading the biography of Monet, specifically grain stacks in his grain stack series, because I'm a learned individual, and because I'm a learned individual who went to Cassidy better than everyone else on this pod. I will mention. I know that it's an obvious when there's a pick'em, you go with the better uniforms. And although I don't know the specific uniforms worn, they haven't been announced. Texas State has a much better portfolio of uniforms, if you will. Specifically, there.
Texas State.
Well, Texas State does, but Texas Tech better than. Yes, I spoiled it.
Oh, that hurts.
My monologue,
I'm itching. I'm itching now. Somebody said it. Somebody said it.
They're flat. Oh no, it had to be mentioned on the pod. Maybe it was strategic by me. Maybe it was planned. But Texas Tech, chef's kiss. The matte light gray with metallic red. There's never been a better uniform for Texas Tech. So give me Tech. They got better uniforms. I expect them to come out in better uniforms at home, and they have a Chimy's there in Amarillo, wherever they are.
Jesus. They're in your conference.
We had to take shots. Yeah, no, I knew Lubbock.
That was definitely.
Don't worry.
It's saying it's Amarillo is an upgrade over Lubbock.
Amarillo is definitely better.
Does Amarillo have a Chimy's?
No, but they had the
not.
Big Tex Steakhouse.
Is it really?
Big Tex Steakhouse sucks, though.
Listen to this.
but it's
This
gimmicky.
guy goes, I'm a learned individual, so as a learned individual, I will pick Texas Tech, the worst learned team in all the Big
Well, to be fair, it was Kansas State or Texas Tech.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
I know, but still, it's Texas.
Well, the Big Ten does have pretty decent academic standards, I guess.
Okay.
Minus Nebraska.
I guess so. Okay. All right. I'm going to get down to it. Look, Texas Tech, I feel like they're a bit of a paper tiger here. So, yes, look, if you look at their record and you look at Columbia, yeah, they look better. But every time they face moderate to good competition, they look like trash. So they squeaked by Stephen F. Austin, beat FIU handily, then got blown out at Texas, squeaked by West Virginia, who I think is pretty garbage if you ask me, got blown out by TCU. The Frogs dropped 35 on them in the first half, and then slaughtered Kansas, who, they're Kansas. Texas Tech has been fattening up on some of the biggest pieces of garbage in the Big 12 and the other parts of their conference. So I really think they're about to have a major reckoning here with K-State might be their last chance for a win, honestly. Because after that, they have at OU, Iowa State, OSU, and at Baylor. That should be a 4-game losing streak. I'm going to go with 5 here, though. I think K-State has shown enough. They didn't look great against Iowa State, but they kind of scrapped in. I just think they're a step above Texas Tech here. It's tight, but I have the Wildcats squeaking out a win. Chris Kleiman, by the way, I don't know how much of y'all have been keeping up with K-State in the same trend of coaches being kind of wimps towards the media. He has asked the media for positivity as he believes it will help their team turn the ship around. So he asked the media to be nice to everyone, which is just baffling to me. But yeah, so oh my God. Ty in the private chat just said, wait, does PK not mean penalty kick shootout? Are they actually playing football? Incredible stuff. All right, let's move on. This is going to be a great game, I think. Number 8 Oklahoma State at Iowa State. The Cyclones favored by 7, not the number 8 ranked Cowboys. So this is interesting because OSU has kind of scrapped their way through the schedule, had yet another really big win at Texas, held the Longhorns to 1 yard in the fourth quarter, which is just, it still blows my mind.
Typical of Oklahoma teams.
Exactly. Just finish out strong at the end. So my thing is with OSU, this defense is just so tantalizing. It's hard to go against them. But I don't know. The people being on Iowa State as far as they are, Vegas being as far as they are, it's hard not to back the Cyclones at home. This game comes down to whether or not they're wearing the black uniforms. If they go with the All Blacks, it's over for OSU. And knowing Iowa State, they probably will because they're in love with those damn things. So let's also see if it's a night game. Are the Cyclones playing OSU at night?
I don't think
It's 2:30, so it might be dark by the end. That counts for me. Give me the Cyclones -7.
That's gotta be a long game.
That's a stretch. It's a stretch, but it's enough to get game-winning field goal.
5.5 hour game.
I don't know, man. Anyways, Ty, who do you got?
All right, so let me just say, water over. There's never been a game more fall than Oklahoma State, Iowa State. It's Brocktober, the last year of Brocktober being a thing. I assume the dude's been there for like 7 years, like he's Caleb Kelly, or me in college. But Oklahoma State really been surprising this year in terms of exceeding expectations. I understand it's Brocktober. I understand it's at home. This is the wrong thing to do. But give me Oklahoma State to squeak it out here. I think that Iowa State is just really, like Jameson talked about when I picked, rightfully, when Jameson talked about when I picked UNC last week. When a team is well, yeah, you obviously were right. When a team
I was right. Okay, good.
A downward, yeah, when a team is on a downward trajectory, when things get bad, they're going to get worse. And Iowa State came in with pretty decent expectations and has been kind of underperforming. So give me Oklahoma State here, punching above their weight, generally as usual for Oklahoma State. I think they have +7 in them. I'm feeling Oklahoma State outright, but I've already had enough cold takes on the pod so far. So give me Oklahoma State +7.
Okay. That is one for the Pokes. Blake, who you backing? Brocktober or OSU's defense?
Brocktober continues, and this is just a classic pros versus Joes matchup that you see the number 8 next to OSU and think, they must be so much better. How is it a touchdown? But look, Iowa State really hasn't been that bad. They lost to a really good Iowa squad, and they lost to a very good Baylor squad on the road, which I don't think is anything to get ashamed of. And the advanced statistics prove it. Iowa State, they boast both a top 10 offense and defense in EPA, and they're just such a well-rounded team that I think because they had 2 quick losses that people are so off of them, but they are incredible. Brock Purdy has the 8th highest passer rating in the nation. He's done really good. He's probably had his best season yet, but it's just because of those 2 losses in the loss column. That's why we don't talk about him. And the one thing that's so staggering about OSU is this team, Spencer Sanders can't throw. So Mike Gundy, they do the handoff play just about every single time. They rush the 8th most in the nation, yet they are 102nd in EPA, which looks into the success rate and stuff like that. That's horrible. OSU basically relies on their defense and can't score. And I think a little bit of the collapse is more of last week with Texas. Like I pointed out, it's Texas comes out guns a-blazing, but they falter at the end. So it's OSU's defense is good, but Texas also faltered as well. I just don't think you can't trust OSU's offense. I think just Iowa State routes them this week. They're due for a loss. That offense is so bad. So give me Iowa State.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Jameson, who do you got?
I can see it. I really do. I'm also of the fan that and of the thought process that Iowa State is much better than what they're being putting out. I think that they can move forward here. But I think that Oklahoma State's just scrappy, and that defense keeps things close. And while I think Iowa State's might have a big lead here, I could see Oklahoma State, coming in and, having kind of a backdoor cover here. I kind of believe in it, and I understand they've been pounding the run game, but I'm not picking Oklahoma State here +7 because of their offense. I'm picking it's because of their defense. And I really believe in Texas's offense last week, and I understand, it's not the best thing when Casey Thompson gets hurt and gets smoked. It really completely takes the all gas, no brakes, and they got fuel in the fourth quarter with only 1 yard. But it's hard to go against scrappy Oklahoma State here. I don't think that their first loss of the season is going to be over 7.
Okay, fair enough. I do think it's going to be a close game.
I don't.
Okay.
I think OSU can't score, and I think Iowa State's defense is almost just as good as Oklahoma State's defense, but they have better offensive weapons.
Man, I don't know about that. I really think this OSU defense is remarkable. I'm with you though. That offense is awful, but
I will say I don't hate Blake's take, and it is Brocktober, and after 3 or 4 years, however many years, we should have learned our lesson by now. So
hey, I picked
spooky
Iowa
things
State.
happen in Ames.
Spooky things happen in Ames.
Yeah.
That is OSU knows that better than anybody else.
I think like Jameson said, and don't expect Oklahoma State to win necessarily, but is Mike Gundy a better coach than Pete Campbell? Pete Campbell's a coward. Mike Gundy's a man. So.
Pete Campbell. Our disrespect for Matt Campbell has gone to the point where we're not even calling him by his name.
Oh my goodness, I called him Pete. I guess so. It was a Freudian slip because much like Pete Campbell, shout out to
Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll.
Well,
Pete Campbell.
Matt Campbell. Much like Pete Carroll.
Pete Campbell is a character in Mad Men.
Pete
Much
Campbell.
I'll pick up my mic for this one because this is a drop mic moment. Much like Pete Carroll, Matt Campbell ain't running shit. You guys that are old enough to remember the 2015 Super Bowl will realize that joke. But
Taya, congratulations on nailing that joke on your 7th attempt. Good work. But anyways, it was a great joke. So
that's what you pay me for. Not really. We started getting sponsored, then Jameson and I made no money, and Bobby bought a house.
Okay. We're gonna brush that under the rug with the game of the week.
Sure.
The one everyone's excited to watch.
At IRS.
Number 3 Oklahoma at Kansas. Sooners favored by 38. Jameson, the Sooners finally got a cover last week that was more protected beyond a random touchdown. Do you think they're going to do it again against your beloved Bean Man?
I think this is the easiest pick I've seen in a long time. OU's offenses came together. We look like that of the old OU. And you don't think that we can outscore Kansas by 38? Yes, Bean Man's going to he's up for 2 at least plays that are going to be like, wow, look at that man. The Bean Man is just running all over the field and playing. He's going to, and it's going to be one of the plays in the first quarter. And we're going to be like, in the first quarter, it's going to be like 7-3. After the first drive, and we'll be like, oh, God, this is going to be bad defense. Our secondary is getting toasted. But no, I think we're going to blow them out of the water. This is easy.
Fair enough. Blake?
Yep. Jameson said it perfectly. I think OU's defense has something to prove after last week. I know it was a good win, but still, OU's defense, now with Caleb Williams solidifying the offense, defense is looking a little leaky. And they need to start solidifying that if they want to make a playoff push. But the only thing intriguing about this game that I might watch is if you're up on Kansas by 50, do you give Rattler those backup minutes?
Yes.
Those backup minutes, that's so embarrassing though. You've been relegated to, you've gone up so much on Kansas that you're like the freshman that you need experience type of thing. I think that's going to be embarrassing for him. That is low, and I want to see that. I'll switch to the game just to see him come in.
Yeah, but think about this. He's already pretty damn low. Everyone around the country knows he that went from number 1 Heisman ranking, and now a true freshman took his job. Yes, going against Kansas, might be low, but he needs to start making a resume this season and what little time he should get to show that he still cares. He's a team player and he's a competitor. And maybe, just maybe, in these games where we're blowing out and he shows some things on film, I understand, versus a team that's already been beaten down, there is a chance that he could recreate his stock and his agent can somehow pitch him into a first-round draft pick quarterback in one of the worst quarterback draft classes that we've had in years. So that's my thing with Spencer.
And what better way to take out your frustration than to just beat up on Kansas's defense? That's like something you do, like when you have a bad day at work. You go on NCAA 14 and you put it to Heisman you put it on rookie difficulty and just rack up 1 billion points on poor UTSA or something.
No, UTSA is good this year, Bobby. Don't even, ranked UTSA. Tell your kids about ranked UTSA, Bobby, who I gave out in the preseason pick'em that I said take them to win the Conference USA, but let's not forget about that. But I will say that, like if it's NFL stock wise, then yes, but honestly, if he wants to just transfer to another college, I think majority of the top 25 schools would take him in a heartbeat. I really do. Like, he's a good enough talent. Like, Spencer Rattler is still good. He's just not OU good. Like, I think majority of the top 25 schools would take him in a heartbeat. He doesn't need any.
Yeah.
TCU?
Yes, of course.
No. Yes, of course.
Would you
Alabama wouldn't take him. Clemson wouldn't take him. Ohio State wouldn't take him. And then after that, no, I don't have an answer for you.
Well, okay.
I think maybe Florida,
only because they don't take transfers.
Yes. But Florida,
yes.
AR-15,
I understand.
AR-15, they see that's their future. I think AR-15 could win the Heisman next year, if not Caleb Williams. Like, he's going to be up there.
Well, if they don't start AR-15 this year, I could see him transferring too.
They've been handling it
horribly.
He played.
They got a dude named AR. Wait, is that a nickname or is that his actual name? I have to ask.
No, Anthony Richardson.
To be fair, we are talking about Florida.
Gotta ask.
But his number is 15 and his initials are AR, so people call him AR-15.
Yeah, there you go.
I can see that.
That's so Florida.
He had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and 19 throws. Behind.
I know, but Dan Mullen keeps on saying he might not start him. Dan Mullen has this weird fetish for Emory Jones, and I don't understand it.
Dan Mullen knows quarterbacks, though. I will say.
He doesn't, though. He doesn't. He literally had Dak Prescott. But you have to remember, before that, he was playing a guy that sucked, that they were begging to put in Dak Prescott, and he wouldn't do it.
Put Dak Prescott in. What are you talking about?
But the problem is with Dan Mullen, he rides with his guys way too long, and that's what he's doing with Emory Jones. That's what he did with whatever his name before. He's so unforgettable because that's what he rides with his guys way too long. Dan Mullen has good quarterbacks, but before that, he's riding with a guy like Emory Jones that just ain't it. He won't play a more talented person.
I love how an OU Kansas pick'em has gotten to the point where we're talking about Dan Mullen and his reluctance to bench quarterbacks. Incredible. Ty, who do you got?
So let me tell you guys something. You guys can't see this, but back behind me here, you guys see this flag. You can't see it on the wings here and here. It says 627. Then there's a dash. Then there's a 0. Let me tell you guys something. In the eyes, that's where you can see the killer instinct. All right, Lincoln Riley. I understand he blew out Western Carolina. Okay. He regretted it. You can see it. You watch the post-game conferences. He felt bad about it. Lincoln Riley does not have the killer instinct. Lincoln Riley does not have put up 21 points against someone and then keep the pressure on. Bob Stoops had it. Drake Stoops has it. Lincoln Riley doesn't have it. Lincoln Riley will not stay on the gas, especially – this is a 38-point spread. Lincoln Riley will not stay on the gas beyond 21. He won't stay on the gas beyond 28. He won't stay on the gas beyond 35. Do I think it is well within OU's capabilities to cover this and then stay on the gas by the first quarter? Okay, the first half. OU could win this 77-0. Lincoln Riley has killed before. against Western Carolina. He doesn't have it in his heart. He doesn't have it. He's not a killer. You can see it in his eyes. He's a nice dude. Okay,
Just say it.
give me Kansas.
He's a bean man. He's a bean
Kansas.
man.
No, okay. OU is going to blow Kansas the hell out, but 38 points is a damn ridiculous spread. Okay,
How many
this
points-
is a
how many points does the
traditional
Bean Man
OU
gonna put up?
ridiculous spread. This is an OU ridiculous spread. All right, our defense bad. The Bean Man bad. Is he better than our defense? I don't know. At least the Bean Man is a starter at a Power 5 school. Our defense, not so much. I think OU wins this by 35, maybe even 37 easily. I think Rattler gets some snaps.
How do you get to 37 points?
Safety.
We kicked 3 field
You're going
goals
for
from 28.
scoregami.
Okay, I think maybe it is a scoregami. That's a great series. Watch that on YouTube, you guys.
It's so good.
YouTube that scoregami. It's NFL centric, consumerist, cringe, but I love it. But yeah, I think OU absolutely blows Kansas out, but I think Rattler gets some snaps here because it's an away game. I think Rattler could have gotten some snaps last week, but Riley knows if he plays him in Norman, he's going to get booed. So, and I think he doesn't want that. He doesn't want the publicity. He wants that story to die. I think Rattler very well could play the entire second half here, but give me the Bean Man here just to cover. I think OU blows them the hell out by 4+ touchdowns, but 38 is kind of ridiculous.
Okay, here's my thing. I think Rattler does play the second half, and I think that's why we get this cover. Because I think he's going to be so damn pissed. I think he's going to let it out on him. And here's the thing. There is a backside to that where I could see Rattler making some dumb mistakes because he's angry and just throwing dumb passes. And he's Spencer Rattler, and that happens sometimes. But I don't know. I think because the backup quarterback has something in it, I think that's why we get this cover. A good example was 2015 when Trevor Knight got benched. Or not benched, he just lost a job. He came in against Kansas, performed very well in the second half because he was like, this is my time to just really kind of light it up one last time. I could see Spencer Rattler doing the same thing.
Yeah, hey, let me say one point because I think this is a really key thing on an OU podcast to say. I really don't think that Spencer Rattler is going to come in at the beginning of the second half. I think Lincoln knows deep down that, like I've been saying it this year, that he needs to get Caleb Williams more snaps and more comfort in this offense. And plus, in the back of his mind, in a very open Heisman race, I understand it's crazy, but if Caleb Williams puts up absolute monster stats in this game, throws for or gets 7 touchdowns through 3 quarters, which I think he could play the first 3 quarters, then people are talking. And we talk about it all the time. The Heisman is a lot of it is about how the voters are talking in storylines. And my God, does Caleb Williams have a storyline? And there's not a lot of other players in college football right now that have a storyline. I think Lincoln Riley is going to overplay Caleb more so than a quarterback that we normally would have in the years for those points. And that's just another reason for it to get ugly. Spencer will play, but I don't know if for 2 quarters. I think that 1 quarter of Spencer and 3 quarters of Caleb Williams, no matter the score, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. And in terms of a potential Heisman run, I mean, shoot, this point in time,
He's not winning the Heisman.
He's
Stop.
not. But we didn't think Kyler was going to win the Heisman when it was him and Tua.
But Kyler
it was
played
Tua
a whole
all the way.
season.
Yeah,
no, this is different. This is different. There's 4 or 5 guys ahead of Caleb Williams right now.
The fact that they're only 4 or 5 is impressive. That says something.
But Bobby,
he's played 2 games, and they're
now.
only 4 or 5 ahead of him.
Name 2 right now.
yes.
Okay, so first up, let me say
Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Matt
Bijan
Corral,
Robinson.
no,
Bijan
Matt
Robinson.
Corral will not win the Heisman. That's a cringe take.
But he has a better case right now than Caleb Williams.
Hey,
You
here's
gotta
my
play
thing.
games.
It's like week
You
6.
gotta play games, Ty. You gotta play games.
And here's my thing, but
He
yes, and I
plays at Ole
completely
Miss.
agree with that. But why not try whenever there is an avenue? I understand it's a slim avenue, but do you understand how much Lincoln's clout right now in recruiting is from developing quarterbacks into Heismans? And, it does not look good right now that Spencer, isn't that next guy that he's probably been advertising for the past 2 years saying like, hey, this guy's going to come and he's going to win it. Everything else in the meantime, doesn't matter. Spencer's going to be the guy to be the next number 3. And if Caleb Williams has a road, he's going to do it. And there's also other reasons for him to stay in the game. It just makes too much sense from Lincoln's game planning, from all facets of it, for him to keep him in and just getting stats and getting plays.
I'll say this: getting him to New York, that would be an accomplishment by itself. If he could somehow get him to New York, that'd be huge.
So Blake, I think you're forgetting that the Heisman is not like an objective thing. Like they factor.
Yeah, but this would be unprecedented with a freshman plus a guy who played half a season.
Unprecedented with a freshman. You're about a decade late for that.
Well,
I'm saying unprecedented with a true freshman, plus the fact that true freshman has only played half a season.
Yeah, but this is the best season.
Stop with the Caleb Williams Heisman stuff.
I believe.
I'll say this though.
I believe Caleb Williams has played in every game. He's gotten at least one snap in every game, right? Did he?
Oh yeah.
He's dropped at least one snap in every game.
That is also true.
I'll say this: that he, by Heisman time, if we go to the Big 12 championship, he had started 65% of OU's football games.
He's not. No, he's not. He's not going because he didn't start the season.
I completely understand that. But there is an avenue, and you know that there is.
No, there's not an avenue. I'm saying right here, right now, there is not an avenue for him to win the Heisman.
Okay,
fair enough.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think there is.
Admit it.
God bless.
Admit that there's.
Okay. Let's get on with it.
We rambled so hard this one.
We have rambled, but I love it.
Which you kind of need with this slate. The slate is so bad,
It
so
sucks.
you kind of need This is where you get off your off-topic stuff that you never get to talk about in college football. This is the slate to do it.
This is where it becomes like a general college football show, and that's where it's honestly.
That's what
fun.
That's the picks pod, right?
Yeah, and nobody really gives a damn about these picks anyway. It's not like we're that great, So let's just have a good time.
Hey, I'm 500. So is Jameson.
Okay, good point. Let's move on to the pick that we all love the most. It's a wild card, and I'll start us off right off the bat with.
You got to do it, Bobby. You got to do it. The most Bobby meta game of the year.
No, I'm not. I am not touching App State Coastal.
No,
I'm not. I'm not, mainly because I'm planning on not airing this before Wednesday, but also because there's a game that I love so much, and I honestly there's a chance Blake might have it on his. The UTSA Roadrunners -7 against Louisiana Tech. Insane. How are the Roadrunners meep ranked Roadrunners only favored by 7? And I know there might be some Vegas trickery here, but here's the thing: UTSA. I believe in them, and they can at least get a 10-point cover here. They're going to win this damn game. Louisiana Tech, not very good. I've been, it's been something me and Blake have been highlighting quite a bit. But yeah, give me the Roadrunners at 7 for sure. So, anyways,
You never saw this coming. I summoned Pot of Greed.
Pot of Greed. I'm using my Pot of Greed on another game -7 that I love. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish -7 at home against the USC Trojans.
Bad, Bobby, bad.
Look, Notre Dame's a dumpster. Look, Notre Dame, not great. I agree. But here's the thing. USC, way worse. I'm so out on the Trojans.
Agreed on 2 dumpster fires and hope you pick the lesser of the dumpster fire.
What?
Bad pot agreed.
I like Notre Dame here. I think they're a way better team than USC. They've had their issues, yes, but I've also seen them play well. I have not seen USC play that well this year. I'm out on the Trojans. I'm gonna kick them while they're down. Go with the Fighting Irish here. So that's my pot of greed. Ty, your turn.
I will say, bye, Bobby. Brilliant move. Notre Dame, not great this season, but slept on gambling-wise. So,
no, they are not slept on gambling-wise. They've literally been failing to cover the spreads all the time.
No, I'm undefeated with Notre Dame this season.
They won one of their biggest games of the country as an underdog.
Notre Dame, much like Jameson, cover your ears. Any underage listeners, cover yours. Texas State Bobcats. Notre Dame is not an every week pick. All right, there's nuance to it. Okay, you'd know that if you went to an educated school. So with that being said, in Spain, what they do nowadays, very cringe. I don't support it personally. I'm for the animals. Bullfighting. What they say at bullfighting, I think. I don't know. I took Spanish for 1 year because I took Latin for like 5 years, and then they said it didn't count towards the modern language. They say ole, which reminds me of Ole Miss, which is allegedly actually called Ole Miss. We won't say the name of the mascot because honestly, I don't remember. And I moved to Mississippi in 2017 when their mascot name was redacted. Not 2017, 2007. Ole Miss playing LSU. All right.
It's a Star Wars reference.
What a game. All right. The real competition in this game, because the game's being played on Saturday, is not on Saturday. The real competition in this game is Friday night in the Instagram DMs when you got Coach O competing against Lane Kiffin for 19-year-olds in the Instagram DMs to try to get them to come over to wherever they're staying. And that's accurate. That is an accurate take that we won't get sued for because they can't deny it legally. So the spread as I have it is Ole Miss -9. LSU surprised us last week. Bad this year. All right. In between their surprising good performance last week and now a lot of bad storylines. There's a lot of negative, sort of what's it called in New Orleans, like voodoo or something. A lot of negative voodoo in LSU's minds, right? Ole Miss, clear hearts, dirty DMs, clear eyes, can't lose. I think Ole Miss has this -9 easy. Matt Corral, like Blake mentioned earlier, potentially a Heisman frontrunner at this point. He's, if you guys are old enough to remember this, he's a college football equivalent of Marshall Henderson. If you guys are, that's like one of the very few college basketball references.
That's a great cut.
You guys will never hear a better college basketball reference from me. Marshall Henderson, when he played at Ole Miss, shocked the world. All right, Matt Corral is a college football version of that. Ole Miss at home in Oxford. I think that having lived in Mississippi for 6 years, I think, give me Ole Miss here, right? Oxford is a world-class place to play games. I cannot wait until that's a conference game for us. And I think Ole Miss has this. They have a surprising offense with Matt Corral and Lane Kiffin. Give me Ole Miss -9 against LSU.
Ty, if you don't mind, I have a couple notes on that as well that bolster your case. So it's Manning weekend.
No, sure.
It's Manning weekend.
SEC hat.
SEC hat. Yeah. It's Manning weekend in Oxford. They're retiring Eli Manning's number 10 jersey and also hosting Arch Manning as well.
Oh, wow.
So
I was not aware of that, but that's
here's how big, like, the Manning weekend, how big this is for them. They have panted. They have painted Manning in both of the end zones. So, like, instead of Old Miss, it just says Manning on both ends. It is It is a big recruiting weekend. It is a big, emotional weekend. You got Eli's dumb mug coming to town. That's going to be a big game. So I like that a lot, actually. Blake?
Yep, so usually it's either I choose games that I really like and gonna watch, or I choose games that I think are just one side bullying the other. We saw last week Marshall completely bullied the crap out of UNT, like I told y'all. But this week I'm just going with more a game I want to watch and was going to watch from the beginning. Nevada at Fresno State. Give me Nevada +3. I've been on the Wolfpack all year, and this is kind of their first big test in the West division for the Mountain West. And they have a gauntlet in order to get to the Mountain West final with them and then San Diego State. But I'm a little, I have a Fresno State win future, but I think that's going to hit regardless. But I'm down on Fresno State. Last week, they won 17-0 versus Wyoming, but Jake Hayner only threw for less than 100 yards. I watched most of the game. It was bad. Like, Fresno State is supposed to be the team in that conference that is really moving the ball consistently. It wasn't. And so I just think Nevada wants this more. I love Nevada, so I got to back my boys this week. Go with the Wolfpack.
Gotcha. Jameson, who do you got?
I'm really glad that nobody picked the game that I was going to go after because I've been scrambling this whole time figuring out a backup, and I really like this game. And who here watches some college football after dark? Blake, do you watch the college football primetime game after dark? Did you watch that game?
Of course.
Do you watch the Utah versus Arizona State game?
Yes, and I said Utah was
Absolutely beautiful second half from Utah. And man, does that team look better with Cameron Rising as the quarterback. And they just turned around, and I feel like they are moving in the right direction right now, and they look really good. They had 4 drives in the second half, all touchdowns, ended up winning that game after being down 21-7 versus a very good Arizona State team. And now they go to at Oregon State, and they are a 3-point favorite. I really like this team because I always talk about momentum. Utah is moving with momentum. Oregon State, let's talk their momentum. They just lost to Washington State, and I don't want to bring up anything Washington State in college football, but that is kind of an embarrassing loss right now. So give me Utah. I love this pick, and I love the clean -3 as well.
Okay.
It's so funny that Cameron Rising might be the best of the Texas quarterbacks right now. Like, Casey Thompson and Hudson Card are not good, and what I've seen from Rising with Utah, he's elevated them to the Utah that we thought they were going to be. So
yeah, Cameron Rising's played really good, but we're playing a little recency bias here. Casey Thompson has done pretty damn good this season. He played really well in that OU game, and then last game he hurt his hand and got rocked as well and had a tough game versus Oklahoma State. So we're playing a little recency bias here, but yes,
he plays.
What I
put a little
what
asterisk next to that. He played good in the first half of those games because that's all Texas plays. It seems like
all gas, no brakes, baby. Until
all
you
gas,
got
no
brakes. until you got no gas in the fourth quarter. But it's just simple as it's
Spark experience.
God.
You passed out.
It just passed out. It's fine. Anyways. All right. Well, that is the wild card, and that is your weekend spread. Guys, it's been a fun one for sure. Definitely a rambler, but you know what? I genuinely enjoyed this time, and this college football season is just zipping by quick. So I will savor every annoying Clemson Pitt type of game that we have to pick. So thank you as always for coming on, and thanks to all of y'all for listening. It's always a good time, and definitely appreciate you making it through to this point. But before we go, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, available wherever. You can see the visuals that we reference all the time, despite it's just audio. And you can also check out the Schooner Sim. Our good friend Michael Whitman puts together a really good show there, where he looks at the upcoming OU football game in NCAA 14. Always fun, always really a good time for sure. And then you can also find stuff like Football Feast, etc. Just a lot of good stuff. So, anyways, for me, Jameson, Time, Boat, and Blake, this has been the Weekend Spread. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Boomer Sooner. Good luck out there. That's the sign off.